Hello, my royalists. Welcome to my page. Basically, what's coming up is a tutorial for RoyalRows stitching method. I'm going to be doing it just on how I start, explaining the method over these next few videos. I'm not sure how many videos there'll be. But I'm basically randomly just picking one tower from the design that I have got on Pattern Keeper. I've gone for one that's got a few colours just to try and explain it a bit better for those that are struggling to understand it, and for any newbies that are coming along to see what all the jazz is about. So yeah, I'll flick you over to this screen, the cross stitching screen. You can kind of see me still a little tiny bit. I've opted for 6 count fabric just for the tutorial purposes. Basically, I want you to be able to see what's going on, and I feel like on my 25 count or even 28 count, if you zoom in, you lose a bit of that detail. So I thought I'll go for 6 count, and then I don't have to zoom in quite so much, and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. This will basically be my tutorial fabric now, but I'm trying not to waffle on too much because I don't want these videos to be too long. Right, so first for this video I'll literally just point and explain what's what, and then the next video we'll get started. So as you can see on the screen, I have got Pattern Keeper open for you, and the pattern that I'll be doing. I have got it set up on my tablet as well, but just for tutorial purposes I will show you what I'm doing. You'll be able to see what I'm doing anyway. Right, so as you can see, I've kind of pre-gridded it. So RoyalRows, in a nutshell, really is stitching 10 across and 20 down, filling in that entire block, which we call a tower. Right, so you basically pick your colour, stitch it, and then when you get all the stitches done in that tower, you then park below in the next 10 by 20 block. We call this, underneath your tower, we call it a dungeon. Now, if it's not needed in the dungeon, we'll look up here in our next working tower. If it's needed there, park there in its first available stitch. If it's not needed in either of these two here, in the dungeon or in the east tower, we'll end it. We'll end that bit of thread and start it with that bit of thread when you need it as you go along. So yeah, in essence, that is what it is. You're literally stitching these two 10 by 10 blocks, parking here or here, if not, finishing. Now there is extra tweaks, but I'll do that as more of an advanced RoyalRows stitching method. For this tutorial, I just want the basics of how I started with stitching this way. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So for the future videos now, all you need to remember is this 2 10 by 10, the one that you'll be stitching, you'll be working on, is called a tower. Underneath it is called the dungeon, and then up here next to the tower that you are stitching is called the east tower, because I will use those terms in the tutorials now. So fingers crossed you have watched this and you're not going to be like, what? Well, what's a tower? Fingers crossed you watched them all. So yeah, tower, dungeon, east tower. And yeah, so come back for the next video where we will do some stitching and I'll show you the method working basically. So yeah, see you shortly.